When most people think of financial success, their minds instantly jump to images of flashy cars, sprawling houses, designer wardrobes, or exotic vacations. These visible markers of wealth are what society often glorifies, making it easy to believe that unless you're living in extravagance, you haven't made it yet. But the truth is, real financial success doesn't always announce itself so loudly. It often slips quietly into your daily life in ways you might not even notice. This article is about uncovering those subtle, often overlooked signs that show you're far more financially secure than you give yourself credit for. By recognizing them, you can shift your perspective, embrace confidence, and celebrate success that doesn't depend on social media approval. One of the clearest signs of financial progress is when you find yourself living below your means without ever feeling deprived. Many people assume wealth is about spending more, but true success often looks like being comfortable spending less than you could. It means you can cover your needs, enjoy small luxuries, and still have money left over without stress. You don't feel the urge to constantly upgrade your phone, wardrobe, or car just to prove something to others. Instead, you're content knowing your lifestyle is sustainable, not dependent on debt or risky choices. Choosing simplicity, even when you can afford extravagance, is a quiet but powerful indicator that you've built stability and are on the path to lasting financial freedom. A powerful but often overlooked sign that you've reached financial stability is when emergencies no longer send you into a panic. Life is full of surprises, car repairs, medical bills, or a sudden broken appliance, but instead of spiraling into stress, you now handle them with calm confidence. Having an emergency fund or simply enough cash flow to absorb unexpected costs means you're no longer living on the edge, paycheck to paycheck. Where once a flat tire or hospital visit might have caused sleepless nights, now it's just an inconvenience, not a crisis. This ability to weather financial storms without fear is a major milestone that many people never reach, and it proves that you've built real resilience into your money management. Another subtle sign that you've made it financially is when debt no longer rules your life. This doesn't necessarily mean you're completely debt-free, but rather that you're in control of it. Maybe you pay off your credit cards in full every month, or your mortgage feels manageable instead of suffocating. Perhaps your student loans are shrinking steadily, and you're not losing sleep over the balance. Debt is often a tool, not a trap, when handled wisely, and reaching the point where it supports your goals rather than hinders them is a huge achievement. If you're no longer juggling minimum payments or fearing collection calls, you've crossed an invisible line into financial stability. Freedom from the weight of toxic debt is proof you're already further ahead than you think. A subtle but powerful sign of financial success is when work feels like a choice rather than a trap. For many, a job is purely about survival, covering bills, rent, and groceries with little room to breathe. But if you've reached a point where you can say no to a toxic boss, reduce your hours without spiraling into debt, or even explore side projects that excite you, you've already achieved a level of freedom most people only dream about. It doesn't mean you've quit working altogether, it means you're no longer chained to a paycheck out of desperation. The ability to prioritize passion, health, or family over a job you dislike is a quiet marker of wealth, showing that money now supports your choices instead of dictating them. Another often missed sign that you've quietly achieved financial success is when saving money feels natural rather than forced. Many people struggle to set aside even a small portion of their paycheck, but if you're automatically contributing to savings, investments, or retirement accounts without it hurting your lifestyle, you're already ahead of the curve. This consistency shows that your finances are strong enough to cover both your present and future needs. You don't have to fight temptation every month or feel guilty about spending because saving has become part of your routine. Whether it's watching your emergency fund grow, seeing your investment portfolio expand, or simply knowing you have a cushion, that steady progress is proof of stability. True wealth isn't about sudden windfalls, it's about building quietly, month after month. One of the clearest signals that you've reached a strong financial position is when lifestyle inflation doesn't control you. As income rises, many people immediately upgrade everything, moving to bigger homes, buying luxury cars, or splurging on status symbols. But if you find yourself content with a modest lifestyle despite having the means for more, you've built true financial discipline. Perhaps your income has doubled, yet you still live comfortably in the same home, drive a reliable car, and focus on saving or investing the difference. This doesn't mean you deny yourself joy, It means you're intentional about spending and refuse to let every raise disappear into unnecessary upgrades. The ability to resist constant consumption is a subtle yet powerful sign that you're not just making money, you're building wealth. Another subtle marker of financial success is when money conversations no longer leave you feeling stressed or anxious. In the past, looking at a bank statement, creating a budget, or filing taxes might have been overwhelming. But once you've gained control over your finances, these tasks start to feel routine, even empowering. You don't avoid discussions about bills, savings, or investments because you know where you stand and have a plan. This comfort comes from financial security, not from having millions in the bank, but from building steady habits that give you confidence. When you can talk about money openly with a partner, calmly check your accounts, or plan for the future without dread, it's a clear sign you've reached stability. Confidence replaces fear, showing that you've quietly made it. Another quiet but meaningful sign that you've reached financial success is the ability to be generous without it harming your stability. True wealth isn't just measured by what you keep, but also by what you can give. Maybe you treat a friend to dinner without checking your balance, help family when they need support, or donate to causes that matter to you. These acts may seem small, but they reflect abundance, because generosity requires having enough for yourself first. When giving feels joyful rather than stressful, it shows you've moved beyond just surviving. The freedom to share your resources, whether openly or quietly, is proof that your financial foundation is strong enough to support not just you, but others too. Real financial success isn't always about visible luxuries or dramatic lifestyle changes. It often lives quietly in the background of your daily choices. If you recognize yourself in these subtle signs, it means you've already achieved far more than you might realize. Society often equates wealth with display, but real wealth is about confidence, control, and peace of mind. When emergencies don't shake you, when work feels like freedom, and when generosity comes naturally, you've already made it in ways that matter most. Celebrate these victories instead of comparing yourself to curated images of wealth online. True success isn't about impressing others, it's about building lasting stability and enjoying the quiet confidence of knowing you're financially secure.